So we're here with head women's volleyball coach Korey Schroeder. Korey, some big wins this weekend against Northern Arizona and East Texas A&M, and then competitive five-setter against Grand Canyon. Handed them their first set loss of the season, so that was big. Lucy and Eliana, WCC Weekly Awards. You feel like you guys are in a good spot at this point in non-conference play?
Yeah, we've definitely improved a lot from where we started the first week of preseason. Ultimately, I think if you look at just the results, we'd have liked to have gone 3-0 this past weekend. GCU team is one that we felt like we could compete or beat. We did a great job. We were down 0-2. To be able to push that to fifth set, made some personnel changes, and some people came in and were game changers for us. So that was great to see. But yeah, going into this week, feel like we're in a good place. We've definitely grown, figured out who we are a lot, and we've had a lot of different people contribute in different roles. So that's really exciting for us. We've talked about that's one of the strengths that we feel that we have is our depth at positions and our competitiveness. And so I had a lot of different people come in and contribute for us and get us a couple wins. And now we just have to move on. Whether you thought you had a great weekend or not your best, got to move on and focus on the matches ahead.
So Lucy Blaskova won WCC Offensive Player of the Week, but I think when I was looking at her stats, she also leads the team, I believe, in blocks as well. So both an offensive and defensive weapon. What's it mean to you when you got a player like that who's capable of winning WCC Offensive Player of the Week, but can also pick it up on defense as well?
Yeah, I think she won a few Defensive Player of the Weeks last year. It's her Freshman of the Weeks, and that's been her strong suit. Last year she broke or had in the top of solo blocks all time at WSU for a season. The offense has been impressive this year. She's expanded her range of where she can score. The quality of set that she's able to score on has expanded as well. She asked me at the beginning of the year, we were talking about hitting percentages and where we'd like middles to be generally, and she's like, where was I last year? I was like, oh, you were a little bit below that, and she's blowing those numbers out of the water. First weekend she didn't have an attacking error against some really good teams. It was just phenomenal. To the point where we started getting her the ball a lot more, and so the hitting percentage went down a little bit. A couple of attacking errors there, but when you're taking 35 swings and you only have 2 attacking errors, you're in a pretty good place. It's pretty unheard of for middles to be in that number of swings.
So Eliana Tia won West Coast Conference Freshman of the Week for, I believe, the past 2 weeks. I was wondering how you're feeling about that with having a young freshman come in and kind of building that core immediately. How you been feeling about that?
Yeah, she's been impressive. She's a great teammate, and has had a lot that's been put on her plate, and she's done her very best that she can. I'm not sure that she expected to be in the role that she is. I don't know if we expected her to be, but she's competed really hard, and she's made our team better. As a freshman going 6 rotations when you haven't played this level of volleyball before, and I know there's moments where she's nervous and not sure if she's contributing enough. I'm like, you're crushing it. You're playing the role perfectly, and so I think she continues to learn this level of game and it settles in even more. Her potential is pretty unreal. And so I think she's going to continue to improve as we go forward. But she's also done an incredible job of staying humble and being a great teammate as well.
So you got 2 preseason tournaments kind of already. You're under your belt already, 3-3 so far on the season. After those, for any course, you're going to the Hartford Invitational next to close out this kind of the preseason of sorts. So far 3-3. What kind of letter grade would you give the preseason so far?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, I feel like we've left a little bit out there. Like I said, I would have loved to have the GCU match. And so I don't know, we're probably somewhere a B plus, because I do feel like we've done a lot of really great things. I think first weekend we were playing at an even higher level than what we thought that we were going to be going into week 1. We were kind of mid-season form there already, and so I was really impressed there of the growth that we've already made. But I look at the team and where we're at, and I go like, there's so much more, and they all see it and they know it, especially with having 3-4 freshmen that are out there regularly for us. You can look at it any time and you go, there's nobody that played for us last year that's on the court right now. And so them figuring out how to play with each other, it just takes time and reps. And so I'm really excited about the future going forward. And so I can't give it an A because I know that there's a lot of room for us to continue to improve towards.
So obviously, as you mentioned, you've had a lot of freshman talent come up, and along with Aliana Tia, I was wondering who else has stuck out to you recently as a coach.
I mean, all of our freshmen have done a great job. Liv Ward has come in and her development from, she graduated high school early and was here this spring. She's made a ton of improvement and is just a very competitive, driven individual. And so she's done a great job stepping in there at setter. Kay Hayhurst came in and she was a game changer for us against Grand Canyon. She hadn't played at all. And I go to the bench and I go, Kate, be ready. She's like, oh, I've been ready. And she went out there and just her energy, changed that game for us. She put up some good numbers, but just her presence was fantastic. Maddie Joswick has played a couple different roles for us as a defensive specialist. Against East Texas, we had both outsides playing all the way around. So she went in and she was a serving specialist. And she changed the game for us. She went on I think a 5-6 point serving run when we really needed it. And so she's done a phenomenal job as well. So yeah, all the freshmen that have had their opportunities are crushing it.
So after the Harvard Invitational, you're going to open up the season at home against UW. I know, football has that kind of rivalry with UW, but I kind of want to ask you, what's that rivalry like with UW for volleyball? Or is there anything that maybe you're nervous about or excited about with that first matchup of the season?
Yeah, I think that's there for every sport. We had I've been here for 3 years, so I don't feel it as much as our passionate fan base, but I'm getting there, and our players are learning it too. We had one player that showed up to practice with her nails painted purple, and I went, nah, can't do that anymore. So I'm excited for that matchup. I think our players are as well. They've seen the crowds that we have and the energy that's in the gym. In the first match of the season, you just get goosebumps. And for that to be against UW, leading up to Apple Cup of football too, is going to be a pretty special match and a great environment for us.
I wanted to ask about your freshman class coming in. They're quite young, and I just wondered how you feel they build as leaders, and will you be able to build a good team coming up in the future, especially as you go into conference play?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about our future is just how young we are. And we have a lot of sophomores as well. So yeah, you got 7 freshmen there, and all of them I think are going to contribute at some point in their career. So they've done a phenomenal job. And 4 of them graduated early and got some college experience this spring. And so that was a big deal for them. But yeah, overall, they've done a great job and really excited about their futures here.
And so going back to that UW matchup there, looking at the stats for you guys are kind of almost mirror images of each other. Both have a 3-3 record. The stats are about comparable team-wise. So going into that matchup, I mean, maybe it's a little too early. Maybe you haven't been scouting and looking at film yet or not, but who on that UW team maybe is you think is going to give you a bit of a hard time in that matchup?
Yeah, I really haven't gotten to. I've checked out their box scores, but I have not gotten to diving into them too deep. Focused on Harvard and Seton Hall this weekend, and able to pull up a few clips of them. As we're traveling and able to pull up a game of theirs. But I haven't dove in too far. I know their middles are returning from last year. Barston on the outside is returned for them. So I know there are a couple of returners. I don't know their newcomers as well right now. I know they got one pin that's contributing for them, but we'll get to that early next week.
Looking ahead to this weekend, Friday against Harvard, Saturday against Seton Hall, and I guess could even look a little further, just the last 2 games of non-conference play. You mentioned maybe you've left some stuff out on the table. What are you really hoping to see over these next 4 games before conference play, and specifically this weekend, that maybe you're pushing on the team a little bit more to really focus on?
Yeah, I think just finalizing that identity of who we are. And we've talked like we're really good in serve receive and we're really good in first ball. And I think that's part of our identity, but getting better in transition is something that we really want to improve on. And that's being disciplined, with whatever defensive scheme we're in and making sure that we're going to the right positioning and that we're blocking the right locations. It's something that we talked about a lot this past weekend that we need to clean up going into this weekend. And so, figuring out who we are a little bit, making sure that we're playing together as one unit, no matter what 6 people are out there, and that all 18 people are bought into their roles at any given moment. Know that roles can change. You can be on the bench, and all of a sudden your name's called and you got to be ready to go do the thing. And it might work the other way around too. You're out there, you're contributing, and you get subbed out. You still got to be a great teammate, and making sure that you're supporting the people that are out there. And so continuing to build that, it is one of the things that I like about being on the road for the first 3 weeks. I know fans don't like it, that they haven't gotten to see us play yet. But getting out on the road is a great way to develop those relationships and build trust with each other. So that's been a lot of fun the first couple weeks.